Fans. This is Kurt DeVille with Counterpunch Boxing News, and I am live for this Thanksgiving special event, this special live stream, because this is an official American holiday, Thanksgiving. But of course, boxing is a world sport, so we cannot cease to talk about the sport of boxing because of one day. But what we can do, we can always do both. Yes, indeed. Yes, indeed. Um, Martin Bakole. First of all, shout out to Fizz in the building. Happy birthday, Fizz. As Fizz celebrates, or should I say, happy Thanksgiving. I don't know what it is. Like, I don't start doing all this until I start talking. I don't get that. But anyhow, I think this is a great day. It's a great era for boxing. We've got some new stars in the building, and I think it's time for us to acknowledge the potential people that will make the boxing landscape that much great, you know? So, happy Thanksgiving to everybody that celebrates Thanksgiving, and all that stuff. So, whoever doesn't eat today, it's a shame that you can't, especially in America, because it's turkey and dressing everywhere. People are guaranteed to gain 5 pounds, so I hope I'm an exception because I don't want to gain 5 pounds. You know what I mean? So that being said, I know this is, man, this is crazy. So, what's pivo? Michael, pivo is beer. It's beer in Yugoslavian. Slavic word for beer. Got beer, like got milk, got beer. So, that's how the Czech Republic, so yeah. Did we lose King Charles already? I don't think so. I hope not, But it all really depends on, how he is and what condition he's in. Because a lot of people, we're so selfish when it comes to certain people standing around if they're in pain or in an illness that's giving them great grief. Sometimes it's better to let go. You know what I mean? But no, this here is the last king of Scotland. And I called it that simply based off of, for one, that was a hype movie. For two, that's where Martin Bakole lives. Hope you're good, Kurt, from the UK. King Charles ain't gone yet, but years numbered. Daryl Masters. Yeah, it's a lot of people that's disappearing lately in royalty, over there. So condolences to their family in advance. But Martin Bakole has deemed to be the last king of Scotland. He's a guy that he reminds me of Philip Hergovic, the reputation wise. But here's the deal. I don't really think and feel that this to this magnitude, I don't think people are ready for someone like Mark Bakole. I think people are overlooking that dude because they seen what happened. They seen what he can do. They seen him destroy Jared Anderson. And they see, and I don't even think it's about what they see. I think what's because of what already happened, which I think he's whooped up a lot on a lot of these guys. Bakole will do bad things to Effie, in my opinion. And see, we have four people Four different fighters, four different fighters that have seemed to just kind of slide by or swerve or duck or dip or weave away from the idea of fighting Martin Bakole. Martin Bakole, man, if you really think about it, um, him saying that he beat up all these dudes, Joe Joyce, Alexander Usyk, Daniel Dubois. He went, head to head with Anthony Joshua. Like a lot of these things have happened, right? According to him, he said, "Hey, I've done this, I've done that, I've beat these dudes up, I've gave them hell in sparring. I've beaten them all. I've given them." In sparring, a preview of what I'm going to do to him in the heavyweight division if that ever comes. Now, here's the thing. He said that he's done all that. Now, I want you guys to think about something for a second. And before I ask you this question, I'm going to start a poll, okay? So there you go. So we've heard this for the last year and a half with Martin Bakole state he did, really the last two, because I remember 2023 and 2024, which this year's almost over. We have one more month and a few days left in this year. Okay, so it's almost 2025. And that, knowing what we know about that reality, we've had a man, an African guy that doesn't really talk too much, started talking too much. Martin Bakole started talking about what went down in sparring. And a lot of people, including myself, looked at that like, it's kind of flaky. Like, why would you talk about what happened in sparring? Because sparring sessions are for development. That's practice. Sparring sessions are, preparation. They are training. It's the training process of developing and preparing any fighter. And for someone saying, man, I beat somebody up in practice, that's basically what you're doing. But the difference between sparring is you're really getting hit. But sparring also, especially when game plan development, they instruct certain fighters, especially the ones that get hired, and based on direction, that's how they keep the damn job. Okay, so I think when you're talking about sparring, let's say the game plan to beat a particular fighter or a particular opponent to a fighter is to land the left hook, to make sure the left hook lands, to get the left hook to land in a certain area. Well, you would want to either travel to your left, right? And your trainer would get whoever they hired to spar with you, they would get them to do certain things, certain things in helping that person. Now, by doing so, sure, you have to protect yourself at all times, but let's say that fighter just decided, hey, well, let me tee off on him. See, not all these sparring sessions are all about, hey, get in and rush in and attack. It's not about that. It's about development. And you have to have a fighter that follows the rules or does what they're supposed to do according to the game plan that they're trying to implement and work on. So if they're not trying to work on that, that's that. So that being said, which I don't understand why it's only 9 people in here. Like that bothers me, So it's like YouTube doing the same, bullshit they've been doing. But anyway, it's like with Martin Bakole, man, is a guy that said, oh, I done this and I done that in sparring. Well, if he did that in sparring, people don't like that based on what I just explained. If if you're not working on something and you're just going toe to toe with whoever the other guy is that they hired to spar with you, for one, that's wearing down your fighter doing that shit. So if Daniel Dubois' nose was broken by Martin Bakole, that's a waste of Daniel Dubois. Because what you see, here's the thing: you take punishment in sparring as well as fighting, and a lot of people don't understand this. In sparring, you take more punishment because you're going more rounds. Yeah, so anybody that wants to spar, yeah, sparring wears you down. That takes years off your clock. A lot of people don't understand that about boxing. That prep time, like Alexander Usyk goes, bleh. The training, bleh. Right? Usyk versus Abarabuchi fantasy fight. Who you got, Kirk? Breakdown, please. Logan, here's some. I'll tell you in a second. Zhang versus Caballo. I think Caballo. And I think Caballo, based on the fact that Zhang could probably hurt him like he's done everybody. But I don't think he can keep up with Caballo. I just don't. I don't think he can keep up with Caballo. And eventually Caballo will get the best of him, especially when he works his way on the inside. Now, the danger of that is Zhang countering you. You know what I mean? So, that 1-2. His 2 is that right hook. Okay, because he's a southpaw. So a lot, especially when he's fighting orthodox. So if he comes in and Caballo comes in and comes with that right hand to the body, because he does have a right hand to the body, follow with a left hook to the body. That's pretty much his bread and butter. If you notice anything about Caballo, he's body punch heavy, meaning he punches harder to the body than any other place. He affects you with those shots. He's perfected those shots. I love that style. He's a tree chopper. But understand, tree choppers get chopped down too. You know what I mean? I just think that Caballo, based on what I've seen him do with bigger fighters like Arslanbek Markmadov and things like that, he showed me that, hey, he can deal with bigger guys, awkward guys, but can he deal with precise counter punches, southpaw, heavy-handed punches like Zhilei Zhang? So, he may get chopped down trying to chop down Zhilei Zhang, though. It's a good fight. But Caballo, I just see him with more energy, and he's able to do more, because see what happens with Zhilei Zhang. Zhilei Zhang, though, is pretty accurate itself, because those counters ain't no joke, bro. Bakole is age 32 and isn't a world champ. Why would he be the future? He's more a gatekeeper at this point in time, I thought. No, Vincent N, not at 32 years of age. You have to also keep in mind, heavyweights fight longer than welters or others. Okay, it's the heavyweight division. They're more prolonged. They don't do as much. Their shelf life is a lot better than someone that's fighting at 126 pounds. They've taken less damage. But no, he's 32 years old. He's young. He's young. 32 is young, and he just turned 32. He's young. And he's young enough to knock somebody out. Bacole's on the come up. That's not a gatekeeper. Gatekeepers are people. Absolutely. Gatekeepers, that's a harsh word. Gatekeeper is somebody like, this is a gatekeeper. Otto Weiland is probably a gatekeeper. Derek Chisora is definitely a gatekeeper. Joe Joyce now, in one fucking year, needless to say, he's now a gatekeeper. You know what I mean? Because of the losses that he's taken. You know what I mean? But I don't even think Joe Joyce, based on his age, he's a gatekeeper. He's almost 40 years old. That's 8 years is a long time if you want to compare people. Zhilei Zhang is hanging on to a thread because of his power and his precision. His offense has got him out of things. He has a good chin too, but he's lost fights due to the fact he couldn't keep up and compete. That's why I don't have him beating Caballo. I think Caballo will be able to avoid that shit, wear down Zhilei Zhang, work the body, take more air out of those tires than there already are, and then take out Zhilei Zhang eventually. He may stop Zhilei Zhang if he can catch him and land those body shots. Revelation TV, happy Thanksgiving. Happy Thanksgiving to you too, brother. Caballero was out on his feet against a random southpaw a couple fights ago. Not sure he can avoid Zhang's counters. The Joker. Maybe. Maybe. We'll see. But again, Zhang is a good counterpuncher, so I think it'll be dangerous for him. Yeah, maybe gatekeeper is wrong wording. More like boogeyman. Yeah. And heavyweights do age better. Do you see Bakole fighting his way to a title shot? Well, I think it's going to have to be. It won't be the WBA in. See, what's good for boxing is, what's better for boxing would be Daniel Dubois beating Joseph Parker. And I like Joseph Parker, but I understand things about how fighters move in their career. Joseph Parker, if he beat Daniel Dubois, he would become a two-time heavyweight champion. First the WBO, WBO interim, then he beats Dubois, becomes the IBF. Well, here's the problem. Who does he have to fight? He has to fight the mandatory. The mandatory would be who? Mark Bakole. He may not want to do that. Not saying I wouldn't want to see it, because yeah, I would love to see Joseph Parker take on Bakole. And forgive me if I don't believe that Joseph Parker would want to go into a hard fight back to back like that. You think about Joseph Parker lately. He fought Deontay Wilder, Zhilei Zhang. Now he's fighting Daniel Dubois, then Martin Bakole. I don't think he would want to do that right now. I think Joseph Parker will look at that fight like, now I'm the champ. But, I may want to drop the IBF and then go for the WBA. But then the WBA is also Bakole, so he has to fight him. So it's a tough ride, and I think what the IBF, they're good when forcing people to do certain things. The only way that IBF fights don't happen if the guy that's mandatory decides to just drop out. If he decides to not pursue what the IBF rules are, he has a choice to lay low and not pursue anything. So they can write a letter to the IBF saying why they don't want to. A lot of people do it. Yeah, Chisora's definition of a gatekeeper: he is top 20 but shouldn't be anywhere near a title shot. Nope. But he had one a couple years ago, didn't he? Against Tyson Fury, and he got a couple M's for doing that too. Lucky duck. But I mean, Tyson Fury did whoop up on a guy that he knew he was a lot better than. But then again, it's Tyson. Tyson was thinking about the money. Tyson was like, well, hey, bro, I've made $30 million for fighting Derek Chisora, a guy that I've already beaten twice. You bet your ass I'm going to take this fight. And then after that, he fought Francis Ngannou. Remember that? So, yeah, I mean, yeah. Wonder what Jared Anderson's next move will be. People think he's trash now because Bakole beat him up, but he still has the potential, in my opinion. The Joker. I think redemption comes from redemption by recognition and understanding, by progress. See, you get beat by a guy, okay? People may look down on you for a little bit until that guy goes on and he progresses and he does more than just beat you. He beats other people that may be equal or more talented than you or regarded as better than you. So once that happens, people don't look at Jared Anderson no more. Yeah, he will become another victim. He's not in a circle by himself no more. He's in a circle with a lot of other people that thought they wouldn't be in that circle, but they are. So with Jared Anderson, all he can do then is come back and acknowledge that, hey, I took on one of those guys and I was the first to do it. I first got my ass whooped, but I was the first one to take on the last king of Scotland. So people, guys, don't give me flack about doing that, because he whooped Joseph Parker's ass and he whooped Zhang's ass too. So that don't look too bad, ain't it? If they're not so good, I'm not so bad. If they're not so good, I'm not so bad. So that's how it's going to look if Mark Bakole keeps winning. Now, however, if he loses to somebody, People are going, because we're so unforgiving when boxing comes around, people are going to then start looking at Jared Anderson as not so good. It's always how good the person that beat you did to see how good you were when you got beat by that person, especially when you take no other loss. It's like Michael Hunter. You know why people don't want to fight Michael Hunter? Because Michael Hunter hasn't lost since when? Since Alexander Usyk. But what has Alexander Usyk done? He hasn't lost at all, ever. So those type of things matter in the sport of boxing, especially when it comes to your reputation and your resume, which should be like this. But normally it's not. Your reputation is something that everybody looks at you as, and we follow narrative sometimes. You know, like Wilder was supposed to have been the second best heavyweight behind Tyson Fury, not Alexander Usyk, not Anthony Joshua, not any of these guys, but Deontay Wilder was supposed to be, until we were proven wrong. But that's what people rode with, because the people that supported Tyson Fury believed all that shit that came out of his mouth, which I don't understand that. But they also believed that Wilder was that dangerous because Tyson Fury fought him that many times and almost and risk physical health damage doing so. Okay, so there you go. Effie is improving, but he looks a bit chinny and has no head movement. That's bad news against Bakole. Bakole will destroy Effie Ajagba. He's going to beat Effie Ajagba, bro. He's going to knock out his African brethren. Lee Foster, I am getting bored of boxers saying they don't this and that in sparring. Hunter lost to some record bum in his last fight, but it wasn't put on his record. Hunter far too inactive, and Duck Turkovic eliminator. Don't get why you keep hyping him up. Well, here's the thing. Martin Bakole is beaten. You know, he's being ducked. They saw him whoop one ass. One. He beat up Jared Anderson. After that, people have appeared scared. They have appeared scared because they haven't. Their actions are not hyping up what they supposed to say what they can do. Now this man's being avoided, and he's been telling people, "I beat him. I knock him out. I knock him out. I knock him out, man." Right? So, no, man. I think the action speaks for itself. You have Aged Cabello. Then you have who's after Aged Cabello? I am impressed with the way Bakole destroyed Yoka. Well, and Yoka, you know, he was something a long time ago, which I don't even really claim him because he did really nothing. But then again, you could say the same thing about Jared Anderson. Jared Anderson, you know, he beat Charles Martin. That's his best win to me. You know what I mean? That's his best win to me. You know, but he lacks power in the division. But, you know, it's not all about power. You know, he had athleticism and all that stuff. So, you know. You know, Frank Sanchez, Effie Ajagba. You know, now it's Zhilei Zhang. So you got Caballero, Zhilei Zhang, Effie Ajagba. Now, so you got all these guys, and what happened with Zhilei Zhang? He's supposed to dropped out. Black Americans used to dominate the boxing scene, especially heavyweights, but now I don't know. Ahmed Belton. No, they don't. I don't know what you're talking about. They don't. They don't at all. Right? No. Because a lot of them went to MMA. A lot of guys, you know, went to football because they were multi-talented. They were like, you know, a lot of people were multi-sport athletes. So, you know, they just took they just took an opportunity and ran with it, you know. So if it was think about it. Would you want a signing bonus to box for 5 years at $3 million, or somebody offers you about 4 years and they want to give you $5 million to go to the NFL? You're gonna go to the NFL. You know, they should have made the Ajagba versus Anderson fight a while back at Top Rank. Seemed like they were building towards for that a while. Yeah, that would have been good. I would like to see Effie and Jared Anderson. That would be a very good fight. Who's next? Black Hope. I don't know about Black Hope shit, but Mark Bakole's, not that many people can have an issue with you negotiating a fight. Kurt, lots of British athletes go to football as it pays more. You see what I mean? St. Don, I believe that it pays more. So, I mean, why would you do that? Get your head knocked in. Why would you get your head knocked in for less money? You come out, why did you get your head knocked in, less money? You know what I mean? It's like this tongue-tied effect. It's crazy. I think age has caught up with Zhang. His punch output against Parker was terrible. So Tyson Fury, who will he fight next? What do you mean, who will he fight next? Ahmed. Okay, let me educate you. He's going to fight the 21st of December against the unified heavyweight champion Alexander Usyk in their rematch. There you go. Metalbox J, howdy, Kurt, mate. Howdy. Counterpunch to you. Kurt, Bakole spar stories must be half true as he can't get a fight. St. Don, you said that in a sentence, and I'm trying to say that in like 10 minutes. Something about, shout out to St. Don, something about Mark Bakole's rumors gotta be true. Absolutely, they gotta be true if that's what's going on. If what's happening now is Mark Bakole is now being avoided, that's what it is. And here's the thing, people, to add to St. Don's story. If those guys, Daniel Dubois, Joe Joyce, Alexander Usyk, Anthony Joshua, who else was it that he beat up and pieced up? He beat somebody else up real bad too, he said. He beat the shit out of a lot of people, right? Well, if that was so false, why aren't these fighters taking this fight to prove him wrong? See, the first thing about a liar is he likes to talk about what he did, but he can't back it up. This guy, Martin, ain't doing that at all. He doesn't even follow that game plan. He's not even moving that way. He's not moving that way at all. I mean, that would be different if he was just trolling to get recognition, but no, he's trying to get fights. Usyk and AJ included. Again, those are the top dudes that Mark Bakole claimed he pieced up. If I'm any of those guys, like Daniel Dubois, Joe Joyce, Alexander Usyk, he would be the one I want to show. He would want to be the one that I would show up. Absolutely. Because I'm going to show up to shut him up. Because he's claiming he whooped me, he beat me, right? And now nobody want to fight him. I'm like, what's wrong with you guys? Hell, I'll fight him. Put me in, coach. Vincent, it's too late. He needs to earn a mandatory slot, then wait for a year or two. Yeah, that's bad. But I tell you, Daniel Dubois looks real good for Daniel. He doesn't have to fight Joshua right away. He just got paid a big lump sum. He's about to have a child. He's going out to Brazil and sowing his raw oats, I believe. So it's looking good for Danny Dubois. So if the IBF will allow him to stay away from Martin Bakole long enough, he'll do it exactly for that period amount of time that they gave him to stay away from Martin long enough. Yeah. And if I'm Dubois, I'm the champ. I'm like, this dude said he did what? He said he broke my nose? I'm coming for him. Matter of fact, put him in there. He don't have to be a mandatory. Make him my voluntary. He don't have to do that. Make him my voluntary. And while I easily dismantle this dude. So, yeah, man. The last king of Scotland, people. It's the last king of Scotland. That, he's the guy that nobody wants to fight, but he said he's whooped everybody's ass. Nobody wants to. No one wants to save face. No one wants to speak up for themselves. I find that mighty strange. Maybe Mark McCauley did do exactly that. He did beat the shit out of those guys, whooped all of them. That's why he can't get a fight. But understand, if he's not promoted by a big promoter, he's already in trouble anyway. He's on the losing team. Ben Shalom can only do so much for Mark McCauley, because he gets blackballed and freezed out because he likes to talk shit about Eddie and Frank, which isn't a good idea. I don't think that is smart. I think what he should have done was stayed and played his deal, his deck, played his cards right and all that stuff. So McCauley needs to get with Uncle Frank. He needs to get with somebody. He's no king of Scotland unless he wins a title, that is. Okay. When people are ducking and dodging him, what can you expect? What can you expect if people are ducking and dodging him and all that shit? Tom Little said back in 2018 that he heard that Bakole made Dubois quitting sparring. Well, that may have happened. So, yeah, I mean, that's what I say about that. I think Martin Bakole, the last king of Scotland, I think he's the guy that may be an issue or a problem. But because he's an issue and because he's a problem, I don't think that they want that problem to be shown. Okay? I'll jump on the bandwagon then. Jared Anderson should have counterpunched that Bakole fight. That the American got his ass kicked in a big way. Yeah, but you can't do nothing about it now. He's a baby. He's a new father. He's holding his child and shit. He's not on there right now. He just made probably 4 or 5 mil. So he has M's in the bank for the first time ever, more than likely. He has M's in the bank. The type of money that he claimed that he wanted before he walked off the sport of boxing in 3 to 4 years. So, yeah, Anderson's good. But he got his ass whooped good, too. So that's, yeah. Kurt, I'm happy you have come around on Bakole. Yeah, well, I mean, here's the thing. You can't say a guy is unavoided when nobody wants to fight him. Somehow the negotiations, just people stop talking about him. When he was talking about taking on Zhang, we just stopped hearing about Zhang. And another red flag is when you don't have that fighter explaining why he stepped down, you could just assume the obvious. And what's the obvious? They didn't want to take that fight based on the money, what that was in front of them. Because they're like, there's no way in hell I'm going to take $300,000 to get my face punched in by this guy that may destroy me. No way in hell. Bakole beats them all, and they'll all know that, hence the ducking. Well, he needs to fight first. Because all that waiting and stuff can cause you to be ring rust, not at yourself. So, yeah. What do you think about Frank Warren joining the Zone? I think it makes it easier, but expect the Zone to do probably some BS because they may go up on their prices. PBC should join the Zone. I mean, they need to go somewhere. But if that's the case, they would then be a monopoly. They can do whatever they want. You probably wouldn't want that based on the fact that if I can sell out this business to come work with me, and I can sell out that business over there and come work with me. Well, at some point, I'm going to be wondering, okay, these guys are going to do what I say, or these guys are going to do what I say or what I do. So, yeah, I think that Mark Bakole and fighting and beating all these dudes, bro, I think, and then in sparring, and then they don't want to even fight. Yeah, that's a dead giveaway. One good thing that they all together mean less subscriptions needed. Yeah, absolutely. So, I think Mark Bakole is the most avoided now. I think he's the most avoided on a level, and people are not trying to see that man. But, You guys, happy Thanksgiving. Love you guys. I'm going to get something to eat. I am starving on this turkey day. But you guys be blessed. I will have another live stream tomorrow. Okay. On top of the potential interview with Jarrell Big Baby Miller tomorrow. So I'll let you guys know what time that will be. It's in the afternoon, so probably late night for you guys in the UK. But anyway, I have a series of questions to ask him. If you guys want me to ask a question to Jarrell Miller, I think you should inbox me and let me know what you want me to ask Jarrell Miller. And please, nothing that pisses him off. This is an interview. This is not an interrogation. Okay, so keep that in mind. But anyway, you guys be blessed. Have a great day. And everyone has been counterpunched. Peace.